From good parenting to successful parenting. Becoming a successful parent. You wonder what is the difference between a good parent and a successful parent. Most parents are good parents. Most parents. But success is not determined. Something is not said to be successful until you get to the end of it or along the line of it when it is going steady. And there is every hope that it will not derail. So success it can be inbuilt from beginning. There's something that is called success criteria in some domains. But that success does not happen from outset. It is infused, it is designed into the foundation. It's only at a point in time that you can say this is successful, and you have to define what the success criteria are. The point is that I said most parents are good parents, but are they successful? Success is when the outcome of parenting is or are good children. It's a good child or are good children who actually turn out to be very good fit for purpose, good fit for society. They turn out to be independent. They turn out to be able to look after themselves. They turn out to be making impact and living a life of purpose. These are just my own kind of impromptu definition of it. Now, in some African cultures, there is a statement that children, you can't bank on them. It is only those ones that are that buries their parents, that live long to bury their parents, that actually made it. Because you can't tell. Sometimes parents die before children. Sometimes some children die before their parent. I pray your child will not die before you. And so, usually, when parents, they work towards the survival of their children right from the beginning. And survival is not only outliving the parents, but survival in midlife, when these children are in their prime of youth, in the prime of the children's youth, when they leave home maybe at 18 or after college at 20 something. So in some cultures, the biggest target is for parents to get befitting burial. It means a lot in some cultures, especially African culture. But burial is just a kind of maybe one day or a small time period event, funeral, or to have ceremonies around it. Success criteria differ from culture to culture. But in some cultures, like African culture, they have, the sayings of the people reflect their philosophy, it reflects their culture and tradition, it reflects their belief. Some African cultures believe that eating the food of a child, that food provided by a child, is very important. What it means is that when parents work hard all their lives, they get to a point that they are no longer able to support themselves, and it is now the children that will be taking care of the parents in return. It's not literal food that they eat in mouth. It is still literal food. At the same time, it extends to provision, caring for the parents. That is one hallmark of a successful child or successful children. Now, the Bible talks about a man that labored so hard and got so much wealth, but God did not give him the power to eat out of it. The Holy Book says that man who did not live long enough to eat the fruit of their labor, it says that a stillborn child is better than him. That's a child that never saw the light of day, stillborn, that was born dead. That is, even if somebody lives however long, 30, 50, 70 years on earth, but did not eat the fruit of his labor, that person died. A stillborn child is better, hopelessly. Okay, mind you, what is this labor? Labor includes what they labored for, all the hard work they had put into life. But Parenting is work. Parenting is labor. Parenting is a full-time job. Parenting is one of the most, would I say ignored now? One of the most, which word can I use here? Underrated careers. And some people don't even know that parenting is a whole work, it's career, until you leave this world. Even though children grow to be adults, even at independence, a good parent will still remain a beacon of wisdom, a beacon, a model, a role model, an example to their living children, to their children. Sometimes they are actually the North Star that the children follow their compass. They follow the moral compass of parents. So success is something that parents should think through, not a kind of chance thing. Good parenting is different from being a good parent is different from being a successful parent. You can start good and put all the things, do all the things, and then the children, success is when the children turn out to be well-rounded and grounded, and they are balanced. Because they are good parents who provide food, who provide shelter, who provide, schooling, who pay the bills of the children, they take them on vacation. Those are good parents. They are nice parents. They have good intentions and they have invested. But not all investments go well. Not all investments succeed. The fact that you spend, and you can now have bragging right, I spent a lot on you, I spent time on you. You can spend time to plant and to nurture, but, Paul planted, Apollo watereth, God gives the increase. So sometimes success is not predictable. Success should be predictable. Success in that sense is not guaranteed, or it doesn't happen until it happens. And it doesn't happen in the beginning, it happens somewhere along the line, especially when the children have gotten to the age of independence, and over some years they are consistent in being total man, a total woman, consistent in character, consistent with a balanced personality, consistent with excellence, consistent with result and positivity, consistent in being fit, an asset to themselves, to their family, that's the wife and the children, and to the extended family, and assets to their world. People that have very, very good outcomes. So the success of a parent with parenting, you see, you can parent children and parent them even poorly or wrongly and even have wrong results, even with all the efforts of parenting. Some people are not good at it. And sometimes it is the child that trains themselves, and the outcome you get at the end of the day is because that child actually built themselves. Their parents, children that are so unlike their parents, they are so different from them. As a matter of fact, there are parents that are so terrible in their orientation, in their attitude, in their values, in their own personality, in their habits, that they themselves do not wish for their children to turn out like them. So it will not be a success for a parent for their children to look like that. You see, resemblance, genetic, resemblance or similarity is not what makes a child to be like a parent. You can be like them in physique, you can be like them in outlook, in speech, in height, in whatever, in your genetics, but you may not be like parents. Children may not be like parents in character. Character is the chief of them all. And that's why parenting should be an intentional thing, should be a project that is started and done on purpose. One of the definitions of public relations I learned as an undergraduate in 1989 was that public relations is a deliberate plan and sustained effort to establish and maintain, whether it's cordial relationship or mutual relationship between an organization and its publics. I don't know who gave that definition. I don't know. In those days, we used to read William J. Stanton, we used to read Philip Kotler and some of those management books. It says that public relations is the deliberate plan and sustained effort to establish and maintain mutual relationship between an organization and its public. Let me borrow some ingredients of that PR. Public relation. Let's leave public. Let's say parenting. Let's substitute it now with parenting. PR looks like parenting. Sounds like parenting, right? PR. We agree with me? PR, public relations, parenting, is a deliberate, planned, sustained effort to establish, maintain a balanced human being, a balanced being on this earth, before conception, to nurturing, and parenting, upbringing, supporting, until they are very independent and they actually produce fruits. Because when you have a seed, you plant a seed, that seed germinates to become a fruit and or a whatever, and when it grows, it brings its kind, it reproduces after itself. That is the definition of success, because success without a successor is a failure. That is, even if you get somebody to be right and they cannot reproduce themselves. So successful parenting might not even end with your own children. It might also, depending on your own expectation and success criteria, if good that you are brings out the good, it should also go down the generations. And that's why you see some families with impeccable credentials of excellence, of morality. Either sometimes it can be business, sometimes it can be academic, sometimes it can be one thing that they are noted for, and it is just in generations. And that they build a kind of credibility, they build a kind of reputation. You see, no, the opposite of reputation is notoriety. It's either somebody is notorious for something or has a positive perception, positive public image in a very decent and strong area. So that leads me to tell you, to say that especially in the days of religion and over religiosity and some kind of Pentecostal nonsense and some other religions, praying is good. As a matter of fact, before you come together with a partner, you pray to get a good partner. The time you get a good partner, it's answered prayer. You still pray to have a good relationship. From good relationship, you want to advance to marriage. You pray to get it. Prayer is still in the whole range, in the end to end, like that. Then, when you want to conceive, you pray for God to give you good seeds, offsprings after your own kind, offsprings that are blessed by God. And then you also still pray for those offsprings to actually be well, and for God to provide for you, and for everything to balance out for you as a family. So prayer is a continuous state. So, but you see, success criteria for parenting doesn't lie only in prayer. Because if you are looking at prayer, it means that the outcomes, it means that you can't determine the outcomes. You are only praying, wishing, and hoping in the name of one higher power to help you to put things in place. And that higher power, the power and the presence is there. But you have a part in the pact. You have a PART in the PACT. So it has to be intentional. If you are not intentional about every phase of your family life, of your parenting life, it's like gambling. And you don't gamble with your children's life. It has to be planned, deliberate, sustained effort to establish and sustain and maintain. So this message is for those who are already having children and those who are yet to start having children. So you need to plan for them. For those who are already born, a lot of parents are really facing the heat now in the days of internet, in the days of social media. They have lost it. There's a disconnection between the parents and the children. And I am a parent of children in their 20s, and I'm very, very happy the place where that I find where our children are at today. Their mother and myself, we work so hard, but it's not just in the labor, it's about intention, it's about cooperation, it's about collaboration, it's about association, it's about participation, participative parenting, collaboration as a couple, collaborating with the children, understanding them, because right now, this is one of the toughest times to raise children in any generation, right? If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please give us your subscription. Give me your subscription. Help me to be able to produce more of this content. YouTube shows that at the back end, only 25% of our watchers, people watching my channel, are subscribed. Please add your own subscription today. Thank you very much for clicking that subscribe button right now. Click the like button so that YouTube can recommend it to other people, and click the notification bell so that you can get more videos when I produce them. So let me just give you some things as my own, like a guide or some wisdom that will help you to go from being a good parent who is present in the children's life, who provides for them and who cares about them, to being a successful parent that all the end result of all the labor you are putting in will actually be that those children eventually they turn out to be very well. Number one, planning. Plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. This means that many people that are so-called parents, I put the word so-called, they have failed before setting out. For you to build a house successfully, there has to be an architecture, there has to be a design, there has to be a plan. And when you set out, maybe like your marriage is setting out, they put all the lines down in order to get the parameter, the external perimeter of the project, of the building that you want to build. Because children are like house. That's why they use the word build. You build character, you build personality. I'll still get to a point where I'll tell you about molding. Building has to do with starting with a foundation, with a plan in mind, and putting every layer of the structure one after the other, line upon line, precept upon precept. So you need to prepare. Not only will you have a design, you also need to prepare the environment. You make sure that you clear your life of all encumbrances. Make sure that if you want to parent children successfully, you are going to prepare the ground to shield them from the influences that can distract from the kind of structure that you are trying to build on the vacant land of their lives. You plan. Then you plan and plan. Then you prepare. You prepare the ground. You make sure that maybe you have in a marriage situation. I'm going to still tell us later that it's not every two random people who can make love they can make love, they can make children, but that doesn't mean they can be successful parents. Number two, you need to organize. I repeat these words for emphasis. The word sounds like it may mean the same thing or have similar interpretation like plan, but they are very quite different. Organize. What is organize right now? Organize is to put in place, to put in order, okay? To put in a way that is, to order things, that this is something that needs to be done before the next thing gets done, okay? It's different from design. You organize around things, okay? You make sure that you put everything in order. And what do you put in order? You have to put yourself in order first. You put your partner in order. You put your mutual relationship in order. Some people marry for many reasons. Some people marry up. They marry into status. They marry into class. And, when you come together, it is not about, some men marry for beauty, and some women marry for height, they marry for physique. People talk about love, but love is subjective in a lot of circumstances. The moment people start saying, this is the kind of person I like to attract, definitely it means that even if you are somebody else that is not that image that you are forming in your mind or does not meet the criteria or the parameters you are setting, it means that your love cannot flow to them. And love should have no boundaries. But to organize means that you put your life in order. The couple might be, we are talking about from good to successful parenting now. The couple might be career people, they might be professionals, and their work might be very demanding. Part of being organized is that it might mean one couple stepping down or being a home, working from home, or sometimes during the foundational stages of children's lives, some parents, they want to be present to the extent that one parent sometimes resign their job if the income of the other one can sustain the household, or the other person looks for a job or a work that's not going to take them away from home or away from the children most of the time. So you need to organize around your life circumstances as a couple, the environment where you live, the economic situation, and what you want to see in the outcome of the children. The requirements of children when they are infants, when they are toddlers, is not the same requirement when they now become adolescents, when they become teenagers. You see, apart from the fact that their need and budget will increase, the demands are very different. The demand of when the children are helpless and they cannot support themselves, especially in America, until age 12, you can't leave your children by themselves at home. So the demand of a parent and availability and presence pre-age 12 is different from after age 12. And I don't know your state in life. Maybe you have maybe your children are you are already a grandparent. It might not apply to you because you are already gone far in your parenting journey. And at what point does parenting stop? Parenting is when you are actively investing, time and every other energy and everything that makes for building a person's life into their lives. But you don't stop being their parent. But active parenting might stop at a particular age. Some people are just setting out, and I believe that it will be more beneficial to those people who are just starting a family or those who have young families. Because part of the reason why I'm doing this is that there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of stress. A lot of people are so worried, they are so pained that their children, that these children are dysfunctional. And I used to say something. If you are too busy to train your children, the internet will train them for you. If you are too busy to pay attention to them, the internet has all the attention. It has all the time to give them. And trust me, the outcome of internet training for your children, or internet attention and internet presence for them, and substituting your parental role, it's very, very you don't want to see that outcome. It's always, it's terrible. Okay, it is worse than you can imagine. All right, so parents should be on the same page and be able to find a balance in their routines, balance in their careers, balance in their household setting, because sometimes you want to raise your children all by yourself so they can take all your values, and also probably you need some support, you need people around you. You have to organize around everything. Okay, next thing is that parenting, to be a successful, from good to successful parenting, you should see parenting as a project. I think I need to look up a project. I decided to go by dictionary definition. Is a planned undertaking with a defined start and end date, consisting of series of tasks aimed at achieving specific, unique goal or deliverable, usually with limitations on time, budget, and resources involved. What that means is that there is an iron triangle in project. There is time, scope, and quality. And you want to achieve a project within a given time, a specific project, a predetermined project, an end in mind, an end result, whether it's an idea, whether it's a service, whether it's a project. It can be tangible, it may be intangible. In this case right now, you are dealing with a tangible thing, who is a human being, with an intangible investment, because it is the personality, which is an intangible part of a tangible person, that we are looking at the end. The important thing is that it's going to cost you your time. A long-term project will take your time, and then you need to know what you are investing in that child, right? You need to know, because quality is infused. I brought quality in earlier. Sorry, it was a slip of tongue. We talk about the time, the scope, and the cost. But in it is the ingredient of the quality. The successful parent is the one who end up with a quality child. Who is a quality child? It also depends on your success criteria. It depends on the way you have viewed it from beginning. That, mind you, quality has to conform. We are in a society, and there are benchmarks. There are things, there are attributes that someone will look at and say, this is a rounded person, this is a grounded person, this is someone that has it inside them all. This is someone that is a balanced person. He is solid professionally, he's solid in character, he's solid in his personal life. He's just a fit for society, and is going to be a great progenitor of other people like him. So you have to see parenting as a long-term project. Nobody just jumps on project arbitrarily. Many people actually do, but you should not be starting any project on impulse, not to talk of a long-term project. Then the next thing is that, the final thing, that's from dating, you gotta be intentional. For those who are still on the way, maybe you are a single watching this, and if you have passed that stage, if you have left that, you have left the foundation stage. People actually buy houses and they remodel the houses. They refurbish the houses, they work on them, and they still. So there are some structures that maybe your marriage is already under a structure, you're already midway into it, or you have already gone far. There is no stage that houses cannot be given facelift. So even houses with a lot of poor features can be redeemed. Yes. So if you are yet to start out, get the foundation right. From dating, you got to be intentional. Don't go to bed with someone that you do not want to wake up and see and get married to. Sometimes people get pregnant, and that's what makes them to bond. That's what they feel. Somebody feels like, oh, it's just the right thing to do to get married. Of course, it's not supposed to be a compulsory thing, but it can be as petty as that. Sometimes it will just be some things that you cannot just define. It's later. They say love is blind, and it is reality that opens people's eyes. People marry for very, very many funny, mundane reasons: height, physique, appearance, and some of these social media packaging. A lot of things. Some people can marry. You can marry strategically, target a man, or a man target a woman, and see that person like a cash cow. Sometimes some people have this black tax, they have this entitlement mentality. Some people have, they are very strategic in choosing, and it's a project to them, and they get what they want by actually going for it. So from choice of relationship partner, you got to get it right. And if you have missed it at that stage, Definitely, people make over houses. People actually buy houses and pull them down, and they build fantastic structure. So a lot of things can be redeemed, but usually with children, because by the age of 3 to 5 they are already formed, it becomes a struggle. By the time they are adolescent, it will be as if they are resistant. It could be like as if they are hostile. It will be as if they are difficult. But if the foundation is destroyed, almost everything can be redeemed, provided the parents understand what they are doing and they do so in love. But it may not be the same result that you would have gotten if you had it right from the foundation. Take it from me that not every two random people can raise successful children together. It means that there are couples that will never be able to raise successful children together. Why? Because foundationally they are misfits. They are diametrically opposed like this. They have their back in values, and that is what is called incompatibility. There's no alignment from beginning. So from the poor alignment, one is pulling right, the other is pulling the other direction, and they will pull that child to pieces. There's no amount of prayers that can work it. I see a lot of Pentecostal nonsense. I see a lot of over spiritualizing some of these things. You see, I've mentioned prayer before. No amount of prayers will solve it. Anyway, it is said that there's nothing prayers cannot do, but that will still be a chance. Prayer may be able to do some, but cannot do it for everybody, even with the best intentions, because you cannot give what you don't have. The lawyers say something. There's a legal magazine that says nemo dat quod non habet. I don't know if I pronounced it right. It is Latin. Nemo dat. They call it the nemo dat law. Nemo dat quod non habet. What you don't have, you can't give. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Christians are religious people. They overlook this fact and they spiritualize everything. What God cannot do does not exist. But if the foundation be destroyed, it's still also scriptural. There's modern Pentecostalism that almost overlook the place of compatibility, and it overlay everything with the Holy Spirit and spiritual power. Yes, the Holy Spirit is the super spirit of God, but you should not frustrate yourself. And not everybody is a Christian. Okay, just know that if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? What can you even do when you have not gotten it right and put layers, see children as a long-term project, being intentional, and also being a purposeful parent? Not every two random people can raise children together successfully. Going from good parenting to successful parenting takes a lot, and I have just been able to mention some of them to you today, and I hope that your children will turn out right. Let your children breathe. Give your children a break. Don't send them back to your own your own generation. Your life is your life, their life is their life. You can only support them, you can only help them to be better human beings and to have better outcomes. And I pray whoever is struggling with their children today, I say that I wish you that you find harmony with your child, with every of your children, and hopefully you will be that successful parent. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Please remember to like this video. YouTube says only 25% of people watching us are subscribed. Please like this video. Please press the subscribe button, and also please press the notification bell so that YouTube can recommend this video to others and notify you whenever I upload another video. Thank you, and see you on the next one.